All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in game number 2. You might be wondering what the heck happened in game number 1. We just missed it as we were coming out of a different series, and we hopped immediately into this one because it was available. So we here have, spawning up in the top left-hand corner of the map, the blue Protoss player that a lot of people know and love. Probably the foreign hope right now in a lot of ways. Give it up for Ting's Neeb.
You say no and love, but I bet some people on the ladder know and hate him too. But you cannot hate Neeb. He's just too cool of a dude. But here, on the bottom right, here on Frozen Temple, representing Flipside Tactics, it is Jon Snow.
You know, I think you bring up a really good point. Like, you know, it's hard to hate Neeb or whatever. Like, the thing that I always hear from other players about, like, why is Neeb so good? Because trust me, I asked a lot of people this question when Neeb started doing really, really well. And the biggest thing that I always hear is just, like, he plays. He actually has, like, ridiculously good work ethic. And I remember I was talking to Neeb and saying, like, you know, why are you so high on the European ladder and everything? Is like, well, you know, I have like an early sleep, or like I get up early because I was in high school not that long ago. So I have like this kind of early sleep schedule. And North America's just not active. So like I want to play StarCraft. Like I want to play. So I go play on the server that actually I can get matches on that doesn't take like 20, 25 minutes. And that's like just the kind of work ethic for him. Like he just plays more than anyone else does.
Yeah, and when you play that much and you just, you know, play all the different styles on the different servers, you know, he's not just like, I'm going to go farm some points on North America today. He's like, no.
Yeah.
He's actually, like, he was #1, I believe, on NA and EU. And that's a pretty impressive feat, you know, like, whoever you are.
Yeah, even going to be going to Korea pretty soon and training there, so should be pretty cool to see just kind of what ends up happening when a monster like him goes to Korea.
I know, right? And then obviously we're hoping like, yo, he goes in and starts, you know, really shaking things up. You know,
well, Adept Adept is just getting a little bit of scouting information off, but we do have Resonating Glaives coming out.
Oh, that's actually really quick. And the location that he put it on, you know, he's trying to put it in a place where it wouldn't get scouted too easily.
The 3-gate Adept pressure can like definitely do a lot of damage, but generally if you end up seeing it being like a transitionary thing, you end up seeing like a robotic facility maybe come out, and you'll see the Warp Prism coming out as well. While you kind of put the pressure on, you establish a 3rd expansion, but it seems like he may just try and warp in a decent number of Adepts, go for the 3rd, establish it. Once he gets his pylon finished up, then he goes across the map to put the pressure on.
Yeah. Well, Jon Snow's going for some Zergling drops. It's only going to be 4. Oh, wait, actually going to be 8 or 7 here. So as Neeb is pushing out, then these links potentially could do something, but Photon Overcharge already going to go down here. Out of Neeb, and it takes out the Overlord.
Yeah, and Jon Snow not able to make a whole lot of other damage happen on the other side. It looks like he doesn't really manage to get anything just yet. Lost 12 Zerglings as well as the Drop Overlord, and hasn't gotten anything in exchange.
Well, now he has to deal with this gigantic Adept push, and if you only have Lings against it, then it's not going to be going too well for you. So let's see if the Queens can actually hold it down while the Lings keep them in place.
Yeah, Adepts do finish up their shade, and Queen's gonna act as a little bit of a blockade as these Adepts try to make their way up the ramp, but Adepts creating a nice little choke point and trading pretty well against the Zerglings.
You know, that was a beautiful positioning on the ramp by Neeb, right? And now they're just gonna be going to town on the drones, and you were right. The 3rd base is going up here by Neeb, so
that's the thing. This is not even an all-in. This isn't a I need to kill you or do insane amounts of damage. This is a I'm going to pressure you, I'm going to try and kill off and trade out versus Zerglings, kill off any like workers that I can find. And behind this, I'm getting out my 3rd. Photon Overcharge is going to make this a much easier defense for me. And I think Jon Snow is going to have a really hard time busting in over here. He may be able to make something work just because I don't think he's going to try. Oh, he is still redroning up. I was going to say he's getting out this Baneling Nest. I thought maybe he was going to go for like a big Baneling bust into the natural.
He even cancels the shades, right?
Yeah.
Like, Jon Snow's the one that needs to do something here, and those Lings, they're just like, no, we don't want any of that. Like, I think they were running away because they didn't want to die. Not even like, we want to save the drones. They're just like, those are the only links that Jon Snow has, and he knows that he wants to make a few banelings here. Oh god, that's not enough banes.
No,
Maybe
this
plus one
definitely
will-
is not. Shades are for the most part gonna get canceled. Oh, he lets one finish. And I think it was to try and bait the banelings into that.
That would have been so sick. Yeah,
Really quick shout out before these shades finish up to Nimdox for 7-month resub. Thank you so much. Looks like shades do get canceled.
Beast mode. And I mean, you know, Neeb can do this all day, right? Like, forcing out any of the units is going to work out for him. He has Jon Snow supply blocked. He doesn't know that, but doing all that pressure without really doing pressure, you know, it's just basically, I could let these finish, but I'm not. Just to scare you.
2 Immortals actually now out for Neeb, and he's gonna be able to make a War Prism now. He's gonna be able to get up his Blink, his +1 weapons. And I think this is gonna become the really, really scary moment where all of these gateways are finishing up. He has his upgrades finishing up. And Jon Snow's just been sitting on such a low drone count for a majority of this game. Only recently got up to 51. If Jon Snow doesn't take a really, really fantastic engagement in this next trade, I think that Jon Snow, there's no way he can actually pull it back.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would hope that he would have Overlord speed, but he doesn't have Overlord speed. So any of these drops are going to be slow. Oh, okay, that was a little creepy, but oh, he does have Overlord speed.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm over here looking at structures, not upgrades.
All good. Jon Snow is moving out on the map right now, though, with his queens even. This might turn into a base trade, except one of these armies has some of the slowest units in the game. And the other one is actually relatively okay in terms of speed.
This is so awkward now. Does Jon Snow, he's going to turn back.
Oh, boy.
And his queens are going to continue to go.
I don't know if this is going to work.
The Bailings. Oh!
Huh? Decent number of the Bailings. Yeah, they end up being utilized over there on the Adepts, but now we have this other army. Some force fields being thrown down. The Zerglin's going to be absolutely ineffective. Bailing drops happening. They are going to be able to clean up the sentries. Jon Snow, though, like, he loses his third. He's still taking damage as natural. I don't know if he's done enough.
The Bailing drops were so sick, but he went in with the majority of his army beforehand. And then, you know, after the Bailing drops happened, now he doesn't have anything to clean up the rest of the army. So he's going to call GG, and Neeb's going to take game number 1, or 2. We didn't see game 1, but he was up by 1.
Yeah. All right, and I guess that does bring him 1 game away from victory over his Zerg opponent, Jon Snow. And I do want to say really quickly, I do apologize for anyone who's like subs or anything I missed. I saw, I think, a few, but I unfortunately don't have like Twitch alerts or anything set up, so I'm kind of just like spotting them out manually. So while we wait for the next game to get ready, we're gonna hop to a short little break. But before we do, I do want to just give quick shout outs to, let's see. Man, this chat moves so fast, so like every single time I try and like find the subs. All right, Louis 2K, thank you so much for 30-month resub. Holy cow, that's insane. We also had, who was it?
Paradise NZ.
Paradise NZ, thank you so much for the 30-month resub. And we also had one more. Man, I swear this chat will just. Okay, Nimdoc already talked.
They're never gonna see my Kappa pride.
I know, I'm so sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna hop to a short little break, so we'll see you guys in just a bit on Frost. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in game number 3, as we spawn down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. The game has already gotten started pretty far. It's Ting's Neeb, sitting up 2-0 and 1 game away from victory.
Indeed. And on the other side, spawning vertically, it is the flip side tactic representative, Jon Snow.
So we only got to see one of these games, Tempo, but I've got to say, there's one thing about Jon Snow is that he is the master of kind of low drone count aggression. And I feel like that may be his best chance versus someone like Neeb. Like, the longer the game goes on, Neeb is just going to get more and more solid.
Yeah, I feel like Jon Snow excels when he's able to actually get the damage done with his early game stuff. And I mean, we started it off with the Overlord drop, just getting sniped out of the sky by the pylon, and then the counterattack from Neeb is just too much damage.
Yeah.
So if he's not able to get that kind of damage done, or actually, you know, make Neeb buckle under that pressure, yeah, I think this is actually just a kind of situation that does favor Neeb.
Yeah, I think
Just by his...
even like the small things, like how that last game went, it was almost a base trade, except Jon Snow's queens were all in the center of the map, and he had to like do that giant pullback, right? So I kind of almost feel like there's one of those situations where, imagine if Jon Snow had actually gone to the other side of the map and he actually did turn to a base trade, and he had his army at Neeb's side of the map. I think that he maybe would have had a better chance than that, rather than like having to come back all the way home to defend.
All the way home, yeah. I mean, it's... He just got completely blindsided by it. It's just like, you got the slowest units in the game, like you were saying, and it's like, are you really gonna go all the way back home? So he kind of did this weird split off, and didn't really succeed on either front.
Yeah. So I guess the thing that I'm trying to take away from this is I don't think that Jon Snow's early aggression or like early attacks to try and throw off Neeb are going to be totally ineffectual. Although those Zerglings definitely being very ineffectual. 16 Zerglings gone down so far, and no Adepts or nothing has been lost so far for Neeb.
And then the Oracle is going to be coming across, and I'm wondering if he uses the Oracle here to kill even more Lings, or if he actually goes for the drones. Like, I feel like the Oracle could be pretty effective here in the fight.
Yeah, I think it just sits around with the Adepts and actually helps take on the Queen, helps take on any drones that are around, and that's going to be more than enough. But look at this Neeb, he's just shading forward because he's like, you just don't have the units there. More Zerglings are coming out. The Roach Warren is still finishing up. I think that Jon Snow just kilters over and dies here.
Oh, the Roach Warren, I mean, it just now finished, you said. And how many drones has he already lost? He's lost 5. And he's down by about 11 anyway. So, yeah, even if this doesn't do any more damage, Neeb is already ahead, setting up for the second phase of his game, which would be the Twilight Council. Has 1 Phoenix to kill some Overlords. But guess what, Fear Dragon? It's not done, because the Adepts are going to be in the natural now.
Tempo. I don't mean to call a game early, but I think this game might be done.
Over. It could be. With the drones coming off the line, more going to be going down. This is ugly. 13 have already fallen. And
there isn't even like tech behind this that Jon Snow was like going for, and now he can utilize the tech even though he took a lot of losses. Like, he has roaches, he's sitting on hatchery tech, and he has 3 bases and less than half the drones of Neeb. And Neeb has a 3rd going up, by the way.
Yeah, honestly, man, this is like just rock bottom here for Zerg. There's no lair, there's nothing he was saving up for. The 3rd base didn't even get to mine during it, so
no.
It's, yeah, man, I just feel like Jon Snow slowly dies here if he tries to attack. Neeb doesn't really have a lot of army, you know. He still has the Mothership Core, I believe, though, right? Yeah, he has the Mothership Core for defense, and is gonna have the capability to warp in soon. So, like, this would be the best time for Jon Snow to try.
Yeah.
To GG.
I agree, Tempo. This would be the best time for a GG. Neeb moves on with a flat 3-0.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's hard. It's hard when you're in that position.
Yeah. And I think someone in the chat was asking, like, hey, can you guys turn on, like, the little sidebar thing that shows units lost? That's not, like, a feature, like, in the options that you just turn on. We actually have to be the ones making the lobby, and this entire series has been like, oh, there's a game going on, and I happen to have Jon Snow on my friends list. Like, let me just join off of him, and we have to like make it with the WCS lobby mod. So that's not something that was really in the cards. When we get an opportunity to, and like we talk to the players before they start the series, and we're like, hey, don't just let us know what the map order is. We'll make the lobbies and everything. That's when we can get those kind of cool things involved.
Pretty much.
But yeah, that's a pretty clean game from me.
Yeah, and that's what happens sometimes, right? It's just like, that's why a lot of people fear him, because you have players that will do some adept stuff like that, right? And that's all they have. Like, they literally put everything into that adept attack, and it's like, well, that didn't work, I lose. No, Neeb usually uses it as an opener, and he even mixed it up with the Stargate. And then he also had a Twilight Council behind it, and he took the 3rd after the push. Like, it's tough, man. Yeah. You really got to be on top of your game.
All right, but I think that we are going to be hopping into our next series, which I feel like we were just like really lucky on the timing of everything, or almost lucky, it seems, as PvZ versus Bales is one of the matches that's going to be starting up next. Hydra versus Polt, I guess, is also a match that's happening, but I believe that they're already in game, so it's a little bit too late to hop into that.
Okay.
So I think this would be a good other one to hop into, but it seems like Bales is taking a break right now, so I'm not sure how long that's going to last. I guess worth noting, as Hydra versus Polt is happening, that is in the winner's bracket, that does mean that Polt managed to defeat Panda Bear Me 3-0, and Hydra, we already know, had the just automatic advancement on over No Regret, who did not show up.
Yeah.
But
he still hasn't really got. Does he still have a little opportunity, or he's running out of time?
I think he's probably running out of time now, because it's before it was like he was waiting for who he was gonna face off against, but he's facing off against Panda Bear Me, who just recently lost to Polt. So I don't know how much time he actually has left.
Man, oh man.
Oh, poor Jake. Gotta make sure he's actually going to sleep on time. But PvZ did manage to beat Poke Bunny and is now playing versus Bales, but that means that Bales also won his match versus Puck, and he won it 3-1. And I think that in and of itself is a little bit of an upset.
Yeah. Bales, man. Gotta watch out for your boy. Because, you know, Puck, yeah, definitely been having some good success, I feel like. And in a good mindset, too. Bales has always been that guy that's just like, yeah, I'm really good, but, you know, he's too busy being a baller on the side. He's just like, yeah, I'm just this baller ass dude that has, you know, some StarCraft skills as well.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like I feel like these guys have always had like this fairly long history, and I can even actually pull up a little bit of that history in a second. But these guys have had like a pretty cool history against each other. Bales used to be like the much more well-known player in North America. A lot of people would be like, oh, you know, Bales, he's like probably one of the top like 5 North American Protoss players out there. Still like a little bit below, of course. Like at the time, it was like Huck, as well as I think it was who else was like a big Protoss player at the time? I guess Bales was one of them and everything. But regardless, like PvZ was still kind of like the up-and-comer that not a lot of people gave a lot of respect to, because people would say like he played a really cheesy style. And even PvZ kind of admits like he used to do that. Like his go-to in PvP was corner of the map. I think Frost was even one of the maps he would do this on. Corner of the map, especially versus Bales. Like I saw him do this so many times versus Bales, and it would work so many times. Just middle of the PvP, let's build 3 targets in the middle of the map, or like the corner of the map. Just make 11 Void Rays. Don't move out until you have 11 Void Rays, and then just come in with a surprise 11 Void Rays. And Bales would just be like, what the hell is this? But he would lose to it.
It would work too, like
exactly.
And this is back when you thought that PvZ was like this, you know, like 4'2" kid, like sitting at his computer, like, hey, yo, make some Void Rays. Goes to his first event. Dude's like 7'15".
Dude, he is super tall. It really is not very apparent when you look at pictures of him, but he's a really, really tall kid. But regardless, just taking a little bit of a look at, I think I might even have a picture of him on our stats screen as I pull that up. Well, I have a picture of Bales. I don't have a picture of PvZ, it seems like. But regardless, Bales versus PvZ, both these players have turned out to be really, really solid Protoss players that definitely some of the top ones in the North American scene. I would say especially PvZ has been doing exceptionally well lately. If you just take a look at his Ultima League performance and everything else along those lines, like he's been doing really, really well. He's beaten literally a GSL Code S level, or Code S Terran, and an SSL level Terran. Like they're currently in GSL Code S and SSL, and PvZ has beaten both of them.
Yeah, that's your boy. There go that boy beating them Koreans, like.
Yeah. All right, but looks like the game is getting ready as I finally have the map. It's gonna be Frost for game number 1.
Cool.
Just getting everything set up, getting you invited, putting Bales in the right slot, so I'm not playing versus PvZ. That'd be a very different level of PvP.
Yeah, that'd be like Protoss versus Pleb. Obviously not
Protoss versus Pleb.
I'm sorry.
That's fantastic. No. Let's be real. Like, that'd be
You
a
could put me in that
compliment to me
situation
almost.
too, and now it's
Oh. But talking about these guys' history, they do have a fairly rich history against each other. A total of 8 games played against each other, and I've definitely got to say, even though it's been a little bit more back and forth more recently, with Pili taking the last time they faced off against each other 2-1, Bales taking the time before that 2-0, and then back to Pili 3-2, and actually the previous WCS Challenger Series, it's definitely gone a little bit more in favor of Pili. So here we go, we're hopping into it. Players are ready, and first map is going to be Frost. We'll see you guys on game number 1 for this best of 5.